Alright, so today I will be talking about why I switched over from Windows to Linux. And also I want this video to be kind of as an introduction to my channel because I've been really into Linux recently, and I will definitely like to give you guys some insight on Linux, show you why it's good, show you some interesting distros, and yeah. So I've been a Windows user for years. I've been using the previous Windows versions, and honestly I can definitely say I was excited for Windows 10. The one thing that was weird, however, was the fact that I realized that the updates had to be forced because apparently Windows 10 will be the last version of Windows, and from here on out it will be just updates. And it kind of sucked for me because I hate Windows Update. Like, I hate the updater, and back when I was using Windows 7, I remember at one point I had it completely disabled because at one point my laptop crashed because of it. Like, I had a startup error because it had to restart multiple times, and apparently something wrong happened and it completely just crashed, and when I tried to boot back in I couldn't, and so I lost all of my information and I had to reinstall Windows. And so ever since then I hated Windows Update. In Linux, however, it's a different experience. And the updates are frequent but small, and I like that. I like that I don't have to restart my system over and over again to apply a major update. Of course, the versions, when a new long-term release comes out, and I want to update my system, it'll take a longer time, of course, and I may have to restart it, but it's nowhere near as annoying or dreadful as the Windows update. Another thing that I really hate is that the performance just doesn't seem to be there on Windows. And when I talk about performance, I don't necessarily mean the gaming performance or anything like that, because I can't really disagree on the fact that Windows controls the whole gaming aspect and the gaming side of things. But when it comes to performance, just daily performance and the performance in the system itself, I can say that Linux definitely suits my needs for my laptop, because my laptop is from 2015, so it's starting to get old, but it's not too old. So I think that it should still perform the way it did when I first bought it, but I don't know if it's from the updates or whatever. It just doesn't seem to perform that well, and it's sluggish on Windows. And in case you can't tell, which I'm sure most of you can, I'm using KDE right now as my desktop environment. And even though KDE isn't the most lightweight desktop environment out there, what I can recommend for people with older hardware is XFCE. It's a very lightweight, very stable desktop environment. And that's one of the first desktop environments I used, and my performance is definitely a lot smoother on Linux. And so that's another thing that I really like about Linux. And it's just, in general, Linux is more privacy based, definitely more privacy based, but it gives you a lot more freedom. It gives you a lot more freedom in comparison to Windows, and it offers a lot more customization depending on the desktop environment. Like I said, XFCE is highly customizable, so is KDE, and there are a ton of desktop environments, distros, whatever satisfies your needs, you will definitely find one out there. So, but yeah, for example, if I want to click on the panel and adjust its height, Windows gives you a couple of options, but I personally like small and thin panels, and so on Windows it lets you make the panels small, but only to a certain extent. And I believe this is because the smallest size of the icons that are in the system tray and in the panel are, I believe, 32 by 32 pixels or something like that. And so it limits you. Whereas on Linux, you can, and KDE specifically, I'm pretty sure that I can make it small, like to the point where I could take it off of my screen. But of course, I'm not going to do that. But another example for this is when you go to appearance here, not only do you have all these settings and options, but when you click on one of these options, you have subcategories, which is very awesome. I mean, when is Windows going to let you change the splash screen? And in fact, for some distros like ones based on Arch, they don't even add splash screens because some people personally prefer splash, like not to have splash screens actually. But the good thing is that you can change it. If you want a splash screen, you can have it. You know, if you don't want a splash screen, you don't have to have it. So, like I said, the freedom, the options, like all the available options for customization are right there and are available. And also, like for example, for my file manager, like places right here, right? I can put this on the right side if I feel like it. You know, personal preference, right? And I don't know. Like I said, as a whole, there's a lot more freedom. You know, the performance is good, at least on my laptop. I of course know that it's not compatible with all types of hardware, and there can be more issues on Linux in comparison to Windows. But like I said, from my personal experience, my personal needs, Linux satisfies all those needs. And yeah, you know, so yeah, if you guys have an interest or have any questions or whatever, you can definitely comment below. And yeah, that's my experience as to why I switched to Linux. You guys can also mention why you guys switched to Linux, or why you guys potentially might want to switch to Linux. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.